Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another live BRAP rant. This fine Monday morning, we are back, and I'm excited. I have a guest. Have a special guest tonight. I almost said tonight.
Yeah, man.
I'm a
We're
little,
here.
I'm a little ahead. This morning, we have a special guest. We have somebody that I'm a huge fan of their podcast, the Iron Lords podcast. We have Lord Cognito in the house this morning.
My man, Brad. Pleasure. Absolute pleasure to be here, man. It's long overdue. I haven't been here in a minute. We're going to talk some games. We're going to have some fun. Man, it's good to be in the building and the Brat, man. So much good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And the timing of all this is perfect because about an hour ago, some pretty big news dropped as it relates to Microsoft and some new exclusives potentially. So we'll get into that in a minute. But everyone, please, if you haven't checked out the Iron Lords podcast, please check them out. You can actually follow Lord Cognito on Twitter at Lord Cognito. Definitely follow these guys. Great group of guys, great gamers. Big fan of their podcast. They go Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Sundays at 1 p.m. We're back. Football's on the low. It's winding down, and the Lords are back at their normal time. So Sunday is the Lord's Day, 1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, man. Good show. We had the saltiest gamer on yesterday. So much fun, man. And the chat was really lit. And a lot of you guys from BRAP, you were in there. And I saw a lot of Loot Chess Radio guys, Saltiest Podcast. It was really engaging, man. We really appreciate the support. And come check us out, man, on Sundays.
Yeah, it was great show, man. Great content. Really enjoyed the conversation that you guys were having. So we got to get the rest of the Iron Lords back on BRAP because it's been way too long.
Yeah.
Way too long.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got to get Lord Saul. We got to get Lord King and Lord Adam. We got to get our Illuminati lords. We got to get them on. Hopefully, we get them on with Matt so he can school them about Sony actually winning November MPD. It's actually legit because the Illuminati lords don't believe.
They're like, how did it happen? You know what? I mean, what do they say? The numbers don't lie.
It's like the numbers don't add up, Lord Cognito. I'm telling you, look at the percentages. Look at the as far as their first party exclusives and the install base. Look how low that is. I'm like, oh man, here we go.
Yeah, I think unless you're Nintendo, those things aren't going to be very high. And we talked about that before we went on air, but that's like a whole nother sidebar conversation that maybe we'll save for another time. So
exactly.
Yeah. But hey, big shout out to everyone in the live chat. We have Chicken Spaghetti. We have Mark Woodland. We have Lord Kaibatsu in the live chat. Yeah. So, dude, it's funny. I run into him in like different podcasts, live chat. So,
yo, Kaibatsu, let me tell you, man, he does so much for us behind the scenes, and really appreciate Lord Kaibatsu, man. I always try to get him on as much as he can. He doesn't like to be in front of the camera as much. He should be Lord Cognito. But he's so important to our movement, and I really want to take my time out and thank him because he's always engaging in a lot of podcasts. A lot of people give me a lot of positive feedback in reference to him. So 2018, we're gonna try to get him in front of the camera just a little bit more. Shout out to Kaibatsu, man. That's
definitely, man. Yeah, good dude, man. He's like I say, he's always out there supporting the cause. So definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, we have some big news that dropped earlier this morning, and this is something that we've all been critical of Microsoft about not allowing their first party studios to do anything or try anything outside other than a Gears or a Halo, and we're still not exactly sure what IP the coalition is working on, but apparently the Gears of War Developer Coalition is working on a new Xbox IP with Story Lab Productions. So, and if you go to the website, it's actually on their website.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine the excitement when people saw this, and I, for one, I'm excited. I know Cal had posted something on Twitter, kind of giving his initial thoughts about this news, and I think he brought up some. I don't know if you read his tweet this morning.
Absolutely.
But I thought he brought up some good points. I mean, I don't hopefully for me, hopefully this is something outside of Gears, right?
Yes, please.
Yes, I think that's what we're all hoping for. And he mentioned that um his concern is, well, maybe it's something out of traditional Gears, but maybe like an RTS under the Gears
Yeah.
franchise.
Hmm.
And like for me, like that would be a disappointment.
Yeah, that I wouldn't be feeling that if that was the case. I mean, yeah, I think I'm clean agreement with you and Cal on that. I am hoping that it is a brand new direction, and yes, it is Coalition, and we know they make Gears, but if they go like a Gears, like a Halo Wars route kind of deal in the Gears universe, to me it's just a wasted opportunity, kind of thing. So fingers crossed, man. Just hoping that it is really something bold, something in a completely new direction, and just hoping that Microsoft, it continues this trend of allowing other things. Because I know we have a lot of rumors and leaks going on, nothing substantiated, but with the whole Fable 4 rumor, right? With the it being done by the guys that do, like I said, Playground, the guys that do Forza and Horizon.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
To me, that's exciting. I get these studios that are known for one thing to do other things. I mean, just look at what Guerrilla has done with something like Horizon Zero Dawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like those were the Killzone guys. So it's just like that's what we want to see from Microsoft. They just tend to fall into that trap of just pumping out those three that I always, affectionately name the Big Mac, large fries, and shake. We all know what three franchises those are for Xbox. You know what I'm saying? And they're great. But it's just we gotta see stuff like this, pushing innovation, pushing development. That's the Microsoft that at least I fell in love with initially in the generation.
I think that's a Microsoft a lot of us fell in love with. Me, I go back to the days of the OG Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember them, pushing titles like Mech Assault, which is one of the leaked potential new, I say new titles, but games are bringing back. Um, you know, they were. I mean, they bought Rare back in the days from Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's to me, like that's the Microsoft that I remember, kind of pushing the envelope, being a little bit more aggressive in
Mm-hmm.
terms of getting games on the platform. And look, they have the hardware now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's focus on content now.
Absolutely. The hardware is there now. We've all seen the X get, a lot great rave reviews for the most part. Great piece of tech. We know that they got that out the way. 2017 was not the greatest when it comes to software for Microsoft, but we got the hardware done. So 2018, I was speaking with Lord King about this. It's like, I love Phil, but I'm extremely hard on him, because King's the opposite. He's like King, Phil is his Lord and Savior. Phil can do no wrong. Phil has the long term vision. I get it, and I love me some Phil Spencer. Don't get me wrong. He's a very personal guy. Met him a few times. Great to talk just gaming and conversations with. But the way I look at it is like this is the last year. There's no more excuses. You're out from the Don Matrick era. You've shaped it into your vision. You've got all the bad things. Connect is officially dead. All the mistakes. I felt that he kind of took over and shaped Microsoft into his vision. And now with his hardware, this is the year of the games. We have to see an aggressive and strong performance out of Microsoft this year. And like I said, hopefully, if these leaks are any but true, this will be a good start. This will be a good start.
Oh, this would be a fantastic start. Let me ask you something, Cognito. Do you think that perhaps they're going back to, because remember before it was Coalition, it was Black Tusk.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Black Tusk teased that new IP.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Shanghai?
I believe so. Right? Yeah.
Was it Shanghai? I forget what it's called. It was Shanghai something. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember now. That's what happens when you're 41 years old.
We old lords, man.
Yeah, I got three little ones, and
Uh-huh.
um, sleep is at a premium these days.
Getting good rest is very, very vital for us.
Exactly. So, what do you think? Do you think that they're good? That maybe they go back and revisit that game that they teased under Black Tusk?
Yeah, I mean the options are there, the possibilities are there. I mean, again, there's a lot of tea leaves. We don't know what is official, but based on what we're seeing from some of the sources, where the reset era source, he was actually, proven to be correct a couple times with the other predictions. I think this is the year, that Microsoft may attempt to do these things. And like I said, when I hear stuff like Fable, when I hear stuff like Microsoft, when I hear, what was the other one? It was another really, really good one too, that they were thinking about going back to. When I hear this kind of stuff, that to me signals Microsoft's going back to its roots, and again, being aggressive. So we'll see, man. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but yeah, man, I'm a little excited. I'm excited to see what this E3 is going to bring. I think 2018 maybe. Oh yeah, Perfect Dark. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, Perfect Dark was another one. I know. Shout out to Saltiest Game. I know he does not want Perfect Dark for whatever reason. It was kind of funny.
Like, why doesn't he want Perfect Dark? I actually enjoyed Perfect Dark on the 360.
First of all, let me shout out Saltiest Game. Let me shout out Mr. Negative. He's another one. Your boy Meg, he does not want Perfect Dark. There's like a small contingent of we don't want Perfect Dark at all. And I get their argument. Their argument is like, who's clamoring for it? The sales of the last one, I believe Perfect Dark Zero didn't do well, but the way I look at it is this, man, variety, different IPs, you know what I'm saying? There's a fan base that does want it. So why not? That's just me.
I will say this, and I don't like commenting on speculation or things that are said to me, because sometimes they don't always come true. But I have heard quite recently, consistently, that they're working on some things.
Nice.
And so, I what those are, I don't know, but I haven't heard this in quite some time, that they're working on some things. So that leads me to speculate that there's probably some things that might get some people excited.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, we haven't heard anything like these type of rumors in so long. So that's what's leading me, like you said, to kind of maybe believe it, like something may be cooking. Who knows?
Yeah. And you know what? Look, if they say, honestly, like, I know, like, people are kind of like, well, Phil doesn't like, announcing games too early because of cancellation, stuff like that. Honestly, for me, I don't care. Announce games. If they're 2 or 3 years out, at least I know the roadmap.
And like I said, I mean, I know a lot of people kill Sony for that, but I think in this case, I know Microsoft, they tend to have a policy where they don't like to show stuff way too early, but I think 2018 has to be the exception. You have to get the base reinvigorated. You got to get them excited. So even if something may be a year away, I mean, even if they just show Fable 4, logo on the screen, and what I'm saying, or whatever this new Gears, Coalition IP, right? A title, a short cinematic. You've got to reinvigorate the base, and I think Sony, they get killed for it sometimes, but that gets people excited. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm a diehard Sega guy, and I know Shenmue still hasn't come out, but I will never forget the impact that had on the Sony stage. Right?
Do you remember the look on the guy's face? I'll never forget. There was a screenshot of someone attending that conference.
Yes.
And his mouth had literally dropped on the floor.
I see grown men crying. I felt it. I was like, I know what that title means to a lot of people. Shout out to my Dreamcast guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's important. When you see even I know we haven't seen a release date for the Final Fantasy VII remake, but again, people will lose. That's one thing I always feel Sony does well. I don't know if it's because of their movie background, the movie studio thing. They're great at presenting.
I'll comment on that in a sec, but yeah.
They're great at that, man. They know how to get the base riled up, to pull the heartstrings, the emotional things of games that you grew up with and that you loved, and then they present it, and it's like, I'm telling you, man. They got Microsoft needs to take a page out of that book. I really do feel that Sony has that part down.
Yeah, and actually, it's interesting you bring that up, because, and I've said this numerous occasions on this podcast, and I've had the pleasure to speak to Seamus Blackley, and he said it. He said, look, Sony has the biggest difference between Sony and Microsoft is, Sony knows what it takes to take creative risks, because they've done it already. They've done it with television, they've done it with movies, and they've done it with music, because they've been in that entertainment industry for such a long time that they get it. They get that. They get that. Not everything is going to be a grand slam. They understand that. They understand that even if you take creative chances and you create something that is critically acclaimed, it still may not appeal to the masses.
Exactly. And preaching to the gospel, bro. You're preaching to the gospel because that's, again, these are the things that we want Microsoft to do. Again, Sunset Overdrive 2, Rise 2. Just because those things were not initially a commercial success, these are franchises with potential, right? That came out under your ship as an exclusive. Just because it doesn't knock it out of the box, with the first iteration, Microsoft tends to kind of move away from it. Whereas Sony, a lot of their initial, exclusive releases, not all of them are home runs. And you'll get times where they make a sequel and they really expand upon it, and that these are the things that we just want Microsoft to do, kind of thing. Shout out to Inko in the chat. He's going hard on me right now, Microsoft. He's going so hard right now. I feel the wheels are in 2013, but I gotta hope, man. Phil is he's got some things cooking. They've got the hardware down, like BRAP said. So oh yeah, Mark Woodland, man. Rise 2 open world. Oh man, don't get me started. I love Rise. I still think to this day, graphically, is one of the best games I've ever seen. It's just so much potential there, but I could talk about that for days.
No, it really is. I mean, it's still visually impressive. And that's that argument, graphics versus resolution. But again, that's another cyborg conversation. Big shout out to Sam Tolbert in the live chat. So what's going on, Sam? Sam says they tried to make Rise 2. Crytek wouldn't sell the IP. That's actually true. Crytek, for whatever reason, despite their financial issues,
I'm shocked by that, Lord Sam.
I know.
They're holding on.
Yeah.
Didn't they like stop paying people? Wasn't there like this big controversy with Crytek people like we haven't got paid in 3 weeks?
We actually we had Marcel Hatam, who was at Crytek. We had him on BRAP. He didn't divulge any inside information, but
okay.
I've been trying to pry like get him to talk about it. He won't now. He's at Ubisoft, but he did say like there was an issue like with paychecks and stuff like that.
Please, you got to bring him back. You got to bring him back because I'm a huge I don't know if you saw. I had put a tweet out. I think this was right around the time when the Xbox One X first came out. And I said, that get your Xbox One X, you're starting to go through your backlog, right? You're starting to go through the Xbox One enhanced games. And then there were even games that weren't enhanced, but you saw the difference. I put Rise on and my mouth dropped. I'm just like, could you imagine this Xbox One enhanced? And I think I tweeted out, from when I tweeted out, they retweeted me back. And I believe Phil Spencer, a couple of people, the tweet went viral. And it just showed me how many people still love this game. So if there's any way possible we can get Crytek to let that thing go and give it to Microsoft, man, I don't know why they would want to hold on to it.
I agree with Sam though. Sam in the live chat says like, they begin to write the sinking ship, but not selling Rise was dumb. Yeah. They could have used the money. I 110% agree with that, Sam. And it was baffling to me. Like, why wouldn't you just sell the IP? Take the money.
I agree. Shout out. No, I agree. Totally agree with Sam. It's stupid. Shout out to Hardcore Metal in the chat. He's saying Microsoft doesn't own Rise IP or Sunset IP, so it's going to be hard. But the thing, what it is with the Sunset IP, Hardcore Metal, is just that I feel like it's a bad look when the dev is like, we don't know what's going to happen with Sunset Overdrive 2.
But didn't Insomniac say they just need someone to publish the game? Yeah. And they would greenlight it. They would greenlight Sunset 2.
Hello, Microsoft. And again, I wasn't even a Sunset Overdrive fan like that, but I recognize the importance of the IP, like of an original, different style. I don't know. What do you feel about that, Brad? What do you feel?
So I got Jet Set Radio vibes from
same thing.
And I was a big Jet Set Radio fan, and I know that's definitely not a game that appeals to everyone. But look, it's an Insomniac title. Like, and so here's my thing, and I think this is what Sony does well too. It build relationships, right? Greenlight this project, publish it. Yeah, I understand it didn't sell well. And as you mentioned earlier, Kanye, like the one thing that Sony does well is that they cater to their base.
Yes.
So that's why Knack 2 gets a sequel. That's why
that's my point. You just Knack 2 got a sequel.
Yeah, I don't get that. I was not a big fan of Knack.
Me neither. But it just goes to show you, right? Like, look at the difference. Continue. I'm sorry.
And look at a game like Gravity Rush 2. Which was a PSP game originally that they, the Vita game that they brought to, well, the first Gravity Rush was a Vita game, then they brought it to PlayStation 4, then they greenlit Gravity Rush 2 on the PS4. And that game wasn't a game that sold well. So but they know that there's certain fans out there, and that's how they build that loyalty among their base. You mentioned Shenmue 3. You know, I mean, Shenmue 3 was a play at the at our hearts, at our emotion.
Oh yeah.
Look, if you've played Shenmue 1 and 2, you know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
You know that Shenmue 2 did not get that proper ending that we all desire and want.
Exactly, man. I need to know what's going on, Ryo.
Yeah, we need to know exactly what's going on. So, but that's what I would. That to me is like that relationship building. You know, and I've had developers tell me, you know, they enjoy working with Sony because they know that Sony will often allow them to, you know, be creative.
Yes.
You know, I know David Jaffe said that. We've had David Jaffe on BRAP. He said that, you know, he did talk to Microsoft about Drawn to Death, but at the end of the day, you know, Sony's kind of like, look, you know, just do what you got to do, you know.
It's good. It's a difference, man. I mean, like I said, that creative freedom, it definitely helps produce those different type of titles, and that just more of an eclectic lineup. You know, that's what I like too. Sometimes it's not always just about initial success. Sometimes it's games that, you know, gravitate people towards a system. There's people who buy a system just for one particular type of game, and if you have that variety, it makes your platform more attractive. And I think that's part of the reason why, you know, besides Microsoft bungling 2013 messaging out the door, but I think that's part of the reason why Sony's also been successful this gen. Now, just so much great variety of titles to choose from. So you even if they, like I said, the masses don't, you know, all go towards the Call of Duties or whatever, there's people that's going to go pick up a Neo, a Nier Automata, you know what I mean? Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, these are the things that help gravitate towards people.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I mean, I feel like they've, for the most part, since Sony's, and I go back to the days of the first PlayStation, like even that platform, they had a decent amount of variety to offer gamers. You know,
absolutely.
They've always had a nice mix of genres and titles that you could pick from. I mean, you know, I remember with the PlayStation 2, I'd go into GameStop and I would just look at the shelves. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many titles to pick from. Like, what do I want to play next? You know, and I love the fact that I had the options to play those games.
That's the key. That's the key, man. Options, bro.
If I was Microsoft, man, I oh my God, maybe they don't have the ability to kind of open up that checkbook like they used to, you know.
Right. But here's the thing. Did you hear the latest rumor now? Shout out to Rand. I think he got a video out about it, where they're hearing from specific devs that this year Microsoft has the checkbook and that they are aggressively going after timed and exclusive IPs. And to me, that's again, if these rumors are to be true, that's promising, man. Oh no, yeah, Hardcore Metal, Left 4 Dead 3. Yes, please. I want that. That's another one. I love Left 4 Dead. Sorry, continue.
No, I don't. But see, this is the thing. Like, they have so much content that they can. It's not like Microsoft's totally new to the game.
Exactly.
Like, they can go back and they can get like all these different titles and bring them back and like and kind of tug at the emotion and hearts of gamers. Where people are going to turn around. Look, I know this for a fact. You have guys on this PlayStation side. You know, because I know guys that primarily play on Sony on PlayStation 4, but they said to me, "Man, if like Lost Odyssey sequel came back, or Microsoft brought back Ninja Gaiden,
absolutely, you know, that was under their house. Remember the original Xbox? That was one of their. Was it close? Was it a launch title, bro? I'm trying to remember. It was close to launch though. I remember that Ninja Gaiden. Was it Ninja Gaiden?
Ninja Gaiden was when did that come out? I want to say that came out in 2004. Okay. 2003, 2004. I don't remember the exact date. It was like 2 years after the console launch, but that was a huge, huge grab for Microsoft, and it was exclusive for a while.
Absolutely. They need to do it, man. Back the truck up. Do what you gotta do.
Even a Toji was like for a little bit was a console exclusive.
Gotta be aggressive, man. Like I said, shout out to Lord King. I know, like I said, Phil's his guy. My only thing, I just need him to be more aggressive. I think sometimes he's such a gamer and a good person. And again, this is not a rip on him. You know what I'm saying? This is just me from I feel like this is how I feel like Sony's so aggressive and like they don't care if your feelings is hurt. Like I feel like sometimes Phil wants to play nice sometimes. And I think in this business, you gotta go for the throat, man. You gotta go aggressive. I mean, case in point, remember when Rise of the Tomb Raider first got announced as I believe it was Gamescom, it kind of leaked. It was a Microsoft exclusive, and all hell broke loose. Remember? People were like, "This is unfair," as far as the exclusivity aspect. And part of me was like, okay, I forgot who spilled the beans on it. Was eventually become a time exclusive for just a year. But part of me is like, these are things Microsoft needs to do. Now, again, not trying to say media bias or anything like that. But like, here's the flip side: when Street Fighter 5 gets announced for PS4, whatever, and there wasn't the same outrage. I respect that Sony put that money down or whatever they did with the relationship with Capcom to secure it. And to me, I think exclusives are a necessary evil. It's part of the game. You have to attract people to your platform. And I want Microsoft to do that. Like when they had Anthem on the stage, I get it, but it's not, it's not the same thing as if like how remember when Sony had Destiny on their stage kind of thing. Like the Sony always does something to make you have to get it on their platform or even an exclusive or something. I think that Microsoft needs to be a little bit more aggressive. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And they have the hardware now. That's the thing. Like they have, and look, the Xbox One X, I'm telling you, man, I'm impressed with the design of this console. I mean, I have it on and it's like I can't even hear anything.
Yeah, it whisper quiet too.
Yeah. I mean, and it's an impressive console. I mean, some of the games that I've gone back and played, like what's crazy is I put in Ghost Recon Wildlands, right?
Okay.
It's night and day, like literally night and day.
Yes.
As soon as I wasn't even like, I loaded up the game, it came on. I loaded up the last like checkpoint that I was at, and I could immediately tell how much better it looked.
Yeah.
I was like, crazy.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, just I was telling people sometimes just the HDR alone. I'm a huge proponent of HDR. And it's just like, wow, man, look how vivid the colors are. Look how vibrant it looks. It is night and day. I threw in Fallout 3 backwards compatibility. Wow. I'm like, look how old this game is. Look how great it looks. Yeah. It's really a great piece of tech. And like you said, man, they got the hardware now. They designed a great piece of tech. Now it's just about these games, man. Let's go.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Do you think that Microsoft would ever allow 343 to make something outside of Halo?
Ooh, that's a good one. Unfortunately, I'm going to say no, because if history shows, history tells us this is one of the reasons why Bungie wanted to leave, right? Halo is so important to the DNA of Microsoft. And we're coming up on that 3 to 4 year dev window, right? We should be expecting to hear at least a little something about Halo 6, and I think it's so important and the resources may be needed that I think if you're a dev like 343, you've probably signed on to Halo knowing that may be the only IP you are working on. I mean, don't get me wrong, Halo 5, as much as I had my issues with the narrative, right? I didn't like the story at all in Halo 5. I felt it was a little bait and switch. I don't know about you, Lord BRAP. I don't know if we ever had this discussion before. How did you feel about Halo 5?
The marketing was a little off.
Thank you.
But
talk about it.
I wasn't like, oh my God, these damn liars.
No, don't get me wrong.
Some people went a little, I think, extreme with like the marketing, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But I thought it just, for me, there's just a little bit of, I've grown a little tired of just dropping out of the same ship and shooting the same grunts. And, now, Halo and Cortana have this kind of like weird relationship where I feel like he's in love with her.
Yeah, it's weird now, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, no, I mean, seriously, I feel like he's in love with artificial intelligence, and more power to him, I guess. You know, I
Oh,
just, I think, I would honestly like to see maybe Halo take a darker tone.
yeah, I agree. And see that I guess why there was so much vitriol because right, I remember having this conversation with Anchorman. Shout out to him. I remember having a conversation with Lord Addict,
Mm,
and when we first saw that, I was there. That trailer for Halo 5 was on repeat on the E3 show floor, and it was like, look, the conquering hero, you betrayed us. Like
mm,
it sold me on the fact that Master Chief is going rogue. Spartan Lock, yada yada yada. And again, narrative wise, I'm not gonna say, oh my God, they completely lied. I was just very disappointed. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Now,
mm,
don't get me wrong, the game itself was great. Graphically, as far as the multiplayer was fantastic, it's solid, kind of thing. So I'm of the same mindset. I actually share the same mindset as Ryan McCaffrey on it. They just really gotta double down on the narrative aspect in Master Chief and do something maybe a little bold or different to get the fan base excited because we thought that's what they were going to do in Halo 5, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I thought he was going to be like on the run, kind of.
Yeah,
And
thank
then
you.
you're playing him, and you're like, well, wait a minute, like I'm not on the run. I'm kind of on the run, but I'm not on the run.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like he missed a court date, you know.
Yeah, man. It should have been like shout out to Lord Kai. It should have been more of that, boss fight between Lock and Chief. When they finally mixed it up and got it in,
But
I'm like, that's it.
in Halo, in the Halo lore though, Master Chief would have whooped his
Oh,
ass.
we know. We
There would have
know
been
that.
no cracking of his visor. That would have never happened.
Absolutely. We know what would have went down. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's just like, again, we got to see what goes on. But back to the overall question, as far as what you initially asked was 343. Yeah, man, I'm with Lord Sam on this in the chat too. I think they are locked in. Unfortunately, that franchise is too important to Microsoft. I feel to have them let the developer do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, with Gears and these other things, like what we're hearing about Coalition,
Mm-hmm.
what we're hearing about Playground, at least maybe those guys maybe open up to do other things too.
Yeah. Sam actually brings up an interesting point in the live chat. He says Microsoft doesn't care about hurting feelings. They should buy Dead Space from EA, round up some visceral devs, and make Dead Space 4 an exclusive. And actually, yeah, what's Amy Hennig up to these days? Is she still like under contract?
Someone please find out her status. Like, what's going on?
Someone pick her up.
They need to pick her up. She's oh man, she's really good.
But
Really,
it's not. It sounds kind of like that Star Wars game they were working on. It sounds like it was doomed from the get go, man.
yeah, it does. Unfortunately, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it didn't seem like EA really gave them kind of the. Probably EA probably it sounded like didn't really give them realistic. Didn't really set realistic expectations with the game, given the size of the team, the expenses, and everything. It just Amy sound from what I understand, Amy was doing like just wearing multiple hats on the project.
Yeah, I feel bad for her, man. Like I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm a little too sympathetic to the situation based on what happened with with was it Uncharted and that whole situation. And I feel she's a great talent. So Microsoft, what's up? Let's swoop in.
Sam is saying she's laying low right now.
Yeah, I don't. Can you blame her?
No. Jason Schreier wrote a great article on that whole experience. If you guys want to Google it, it's on Kotaku. But Jason wrote a great article on what was happening internally with that project. After interviewing some of the internal employees there, and it just seemed like a big cluster F.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And I like the premise of the game and what they were trying to do with it.
Absolutely, definitely.
But yeah, Microsoft get that talent. Build another studio.
Let's do it, man. Let's get these new studios popping. Let's grab the best talent. Let's do it. She's out there. You need to be knocking on Amy's door. Basically giving her carte blanche on everything, but you gotta make it enticing. Because again, it's hard to find great gaming talent like that. So let's do it.
Yeah, it is. I just not to beat a dead horse, but the whole Bungie thing. I keep thinking Destiny could have been exclusive.
It pains my heart, and you know how much of a big Destiny fan I am. So it's just like to see that was underneath, Microsoft's wing, and it's just like,
the Traveler was teased in ODST.
Yeah, It was.
I never forget that. It was like a poster of him.
Absolutely.
I'm like, oh, what's this?
These are the things, man. These are the things, and Sony swooped them. Now, ultimately, we'll see if that decision by Bungie, now that they're getting backlash for being under the Activision wing.
Oh my God,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? We'll see if this decision is going to pay off long term. But yeah, man, like just to think that Microsoft had control a lot of these things is sometimes a little disappointing. But we'll see. Hopefully, it's a new year, 2018. Positive thoughts, man.
Yeah, positive. So Cogni, this kind of ties into what we're going to talk about today. Just what gamers want in 2018, or more specifically, what you and I think gamers would like to see in 2018. What we would like to see in 2018 from Microsoft, from Nintendo, from Sony. I think we can all agree Microsoft 2018. And I think most people, even the live chat, I think we'd all, and just based on the reaction that I've seen online on the internet, I think we all want to see Microsoft invest internally in new franchises and new studios and put out some new content. Outside of what we've seen in terms of Halo, Gears, Forza, I really hope Fable comes back. It's coming back, but I hope it's not like what Fable Legends was going to be.
Yeah, please not that.
Yeah. No. I think this is going to be a kind of that open sandbox, open world RPG in the same vein as maybe like a Witcher 3, something to that effect. So, and then I'd like to see them. I think they've done a good job of continuing with their support of the Xbox One X in terms of just putting out new enhanced content. I think they've done a really good job at that. So
absolutely, able to go to your whole your library and just see it enhanced and just see all the features and just something like a Witcher 3. See what they've done with something like that is just pretty impressive. So I'm very happy with the X right now.
Yeah. So, Cognito, is there anything else that you want to see them do? And I say Microsoft do in 2018.
Oh yeah, I got a list. I wanted to talk about this on our little podcast. We went over because I believe the whole Digital Foundry being sued was kind of like hot off the presses. So I was like, we got to talk about it. So we kind of pushed my 2018 stuff back. But for me personally, this is Lord Cognito's list. This is just what I want. The stuff I'm excited about it right now. State of Decay 2. I'm a huge State of Decay fan. I thought the first one was a low-key indie sleeper, just to see it kind of get the AAA treatment. 4-player co-op. I'm such a sucker for co-op. I want that fleshed out. I'm ready to go. Actually, I want, and this is kind of ties into PUBG. I actually want them to really stay on that with the PUBG. I know they're being consistent with the updates. This is a huge hit for them. We know it's in game preview, but I also want them to kind of focus on the end game. We know it's addicting, but if they had like a really dominant end game or just like something with think about like having the option of like 100-man Azure servers, like you can put your whole friend list in your game. Like really take advantage of Microsoft tech with that game and really showcase, I think, the marketing potential and I think the things that they can do would be amazing. You know what I'm saying? And if they can lock that down, that's another thing I definitely am excited for as far as PUBG is concerned. As far as my wants, I need Splinter Cell, man. Where's Splinter Cell? Where's Sam Fisher?
I want Sam Fisher back. I want the voice actor.
What's his name?
Ironside.
Yeah, let's go. Like Splinter Cell, in my opinion, is synonymous with Xbox, right? Remember the OG, the 360, like that was their game. That was like the rival to Solid Snake, right? For Metal Gear. Like that was their baby. And in many respects, Splinter Cell, Lost can attest to this. Like Splinter Cell was the hardcore stealth game. Like it was really difficult, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. So I would love to see what's going on. So if Ubisoft is involved and whatever they got to do, man, even if it's a time for a year, you got to get Sam Fisher back,
Hey, which Splinter Cell introduced Spies vs. Mercs? Which one was that? It was the second Splinter Cell, but I forget the title of it. Was it?
I forget the title too, but yeah, that was like their first attempt at a multiplayer mode. I think it was the second one. I can't remember the name off top, but I do remember the mode. may have been. I can't remember the name, man. Which one it was? That was unique. I remember that. That was a big deal.
Yeah, I remember that. You know, a lot of us were at the time, like people that I gamed with on the OG Xbox, on Xbox Live, we were playing Spies vs. Mercs, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think with Chicken Spaghetti, I think he said Pandora tomorrow. He's saying that the chat saying Pandora tomorrow.
I think that sounds about right because
Mm-hmm.
because I remember like Pandora Tomorrow was like we were doing Spies vs. Mercs. The spies didn't have weapons.
Yeah,
They had like stealth gadgets, but
yes.
And the Mercs did. They had like guns. They would shoot you down. But I remember like you could drop down and grab a Merc by their throat.
Yeah.
And at that point, you could actually talk to the
yes,
and you would just talk mad shit to people.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I got you. What?
Yo, that game was ill and for its time. Really think about it. Shout out to Chicken Spaghetti in the chat because he's making a good point. Like, think about we already got the marketing plan for them. You announced the new Splinter Cell, right? Then because Microsoft is in the position they're in, then at that day you're like, and as of right now, all the previous Splinter Cells are now available on backward compatibility. Boom, right?
Enhanced.
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 Boom.
Make them enhanced.
Drop the mic. Then you got Fable 4, right? The same thing. You literally can do the same thing. They have these titles, they have the backward compatibility, and then it's like you build up that hype. They're available right now, and then boom, Splinter Cells come. So now you're getting everybody to go back into the backlog. You're getting excited about a new Splinter Cell. You're getting excited about a new Fable. They've got so many weapons. It's like, Phil, it's time. Let's go.
You know what? I like for me, like for us, I just think that makes sense. But I wonder what, like from the developer side, like if Phil says to Ubi, "Hey, you know what, guys? Let's do Splinter Cell. Let's make it. You know, let's lock down the marketing rights for Xbox, and in anticipation of the new title, you know what we're going to do? We want to enhance the previous Splinter Cells. We want to make them available backwards compatible. Let's like generate that hype. Like I think that's an area where Microsoft, like I think what you're getting at, Cognito, could leverage backwards compatibility to their benefit. Is, hey, you know what? This is a great way to market.
It is
another, you know, the next installment of a franchise.
Absolutely. I mean, we've had Bill Stillwell on the Arnold's podcast before, and we talked about that. And I was like, Bill, I know you guys get a lot of crap about why isn't X franchise available yet, right? Or put on backward compatibility list. And he said a lot of it comes down to timing and advertising. And when that either that third party wants to be ready to announce it, because a lot of times they want to coincide it with some other thing that they're working on. You know what I mean? So again, these are the opportunities that Microsoft could use. You know, you get Ubisoft on the phone, you do what you got to do to secure that license or whatever, and then boom, you know, free money back in the developers' farm. You're getting people to repurchase the original Splinter Cells. You know what I mean? It's all marketing. It's money, man.
I'm hyped.
I'm hyped too. But I think 2017 was fantastic for gaming. Make no mistake. I'm just saying from the we just felt like Microsoft was a little low key involved with 2017 as far as the great games. But as far as 2018, I think they've got a lot of potential, man. They really do. And I'm excited, man.
Yeah, no, me too. Anything else that you'd like to see from Microsoft?
Let me see. I mean, you know, we've talked it ad nauseum. Double down on the exclusives, obviously. The back compatibility we talked about. You know, digging the crates as far as like a lot of the old original stuff. We know that. I want them to continue with the original OG Xbox backward compatibility stuff. I want them to continue with that. And yeah, man. I mean, like I said, if long as they, my main thing with them is I know Phil doesn't like to talk about stuff when it's not ready. But 2018, you have to make the exception. I don't care if it's like how Nintendo did with Metro Prime 4. Remember, they just all they did was put on a logo on the screen.
Yeah. People went crazy.
You've got to do that. This is the exception because the perception is, unfortunately, if people feel Microsoft do not have the games, they don't have the exclusive. You've got to change that narrative. And this is what you got to do. So take a page out of Sony's book in that respect, do a little bit more of that. And then also follow up on those games. There was a lot of games. Remember Code Vein, 2017, Microsoft E3. There's a lot of games that they actually showed. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that. So let's double down on those, where those are at. You know, let's get a little bit more gameplay footage on that. And let's go. That's what I got. What you got cooking? What you want out of big MS out of the box.
I mean pretty much everything you just mentioned. I mean, double down on first party and new IPs, or even go back to, like we said earlier, go back to some of the franchises that we haven't heard from in a while. I know there's rumors out there with Perfect Dark, with Mech Assault, Fable coming back. But there's some others out there. I mean, if you can, of course, for us to say it's easy, right? Oh, they should be able to do this.
Yeah.
But I would like to see them bring a game like a Ninja Gaiden back.
Ooh. I need a ninja game, right, man? I'm Lord Cognito. I live off of ninja games. That was why my name was formulated. I was the ninja game person. Oh, speaking of which, on a side note, there's one coming up. It's a Switch game. Actually, shout out to Lord Sovereign. It's called The Messenger. It's coming. I believe it's coming to Switch first. It may actually come to Microsoft and these guys. It's almost like an 8-bit love letter to Ninja Gaiden. Yo, you gotta check that. I'll send you a link.
Wow, yeah, I gotta check that out.
It is like I said, Shaw showed it to me on his birthday. I'm like, bro, I was like, I need this game. This is the stuff I grew up on. I love ninja games. So yeah, when you say Ninja Gaiden and all that stuff, Shinobi, I need that. it's like a lost. What was that last one that they made? What's it called? Something Blade or something? I think that's like the last major ninja game that was kind of put out on Xbox or something like that. But ever since then, it's been a death in the genre, man. We haven't seen much of him.
Somebody just dropped Tenchu in the live chat.
Oh, don't say that. Who said that? Who said that? That's my heart. Enko. That's Tenchu. My heart. See, Tenchu. Let me that's my heart because that's true ninja stealth.
Yes.
Yes. Of Cognito. You throw the little rice bits on the floor. Yes. You had the shuriken. You know what I mean? You had your little grappling hook. You get on top of it. That's true Shinobi Cognito.
Going stealth on the roof.
Yes. And the Xbox 360 had a 4-player co-op version of it. And I believe, shout out to Lord Valaka, we used to play that thing at nauseum. I would even want 360. I gotta speak to Bill, man. I'm gonna talk to him. I gotta talk to Bill. What's going on with Tenchu? I need that on my backward compatibility list. I love that game.
We haven't seen a Tenchu in years. It's been a long time.
Absolutely. Shout out to Fuzzy Belvedere, Bushido Blade. Yeah, that was a classic. Yeah. Chat is lit.
Hardcore saying that From Software teased Tenchu at the Game Awards. Is that what that was?
I hope so. People were trying to figure out what it was. Yeah, I don't know, because if it's not, I mean, I'll be disappointed. And what's that Sony game? The one that has the weird name, Ghost of Tsushima or something like that?
Sucker Punch's new game.
Yeah, Sucker Punch. Now, I'm hearing rumor that may be stealth. I just need some type of stealth, feudal Japan backdrop, true ninja stuff. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Gaiden is dope, but Gaiden is more the action ninja, right? I need where stealth is prominent, where you can't be spotted. That to me is the essence of ninjaism. So I'm about that. I want that in my life right now. So I'm hyped.
Oh man. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, I hope what Hardcore Metal's saying is true, because that's, me too. If From T's Tenchu, that's just amazing.
Oh, I need that. I need that Hardcore.
And that's another one of those games that would be Sony kind of tugging at the hearts and emotions of gamers, because there's a lot of people that would love to see that game. So I think that's. I mean, there isn't anything, I think, Cognito, outside of what you've mentioned that I want to see from Microsoft in 2018 that we haven't talked about. I mean, I think we're pretty much all on the same page. I think most people are, for the most part. But if these rumors do pan out and are true, I think it's definitely a right step for them. They're heading in the right direction.
Absolutely. When I hear stuff like that, and Microsoft generally is not the greatest with leaks, so I tend to kind of believe some of this stuff is true. But if it is, man, how promising is a lot of this stuff, right?
Oh, it is. And here's the thing. Like, for me, it doesn't have to be like this big, AAA, the next Halo or anything. It could just be something outside of, the norm, or it could be, them bringing back a Ninja Gaiden or Splinter Cell, or you remember True Fantasy Online?
Yeah, remember that?
I mean, talk about games as a service. Bring that back. Most of us remember True Fantasy. I was one of those people that was like, yes, I was looking forward to True Fantasy, and I don't remember why they canned it, but they did.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely right.
And I remember True Fantasy got a lot of heat for kind of playing on that Final Fantasy moniker, and Microsoft did get a little heat for that, but I was excited. I was excited for it. I thought it was great. So
absolutely, games as a service, like you said, right? Well, there should be no excuse. Let's go.
or maybe bring back a Fantasy Star. I don't know.
Oh, don't say that. I'm saying, don't say that. That's emotional right there. Fantasy Star is on my list. That's like one of my old time favorite RPGs.
That was on OG Xbox.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's it, man. I don't have anything else. You know, Microsoft related 2018. You know, other than you know, hopefully they have a strong E3 and
yeah, man.
You know, make some big announcements. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's move on to Sony. So Sony and quite to and I always say this, you know, outside of Sony, look, Sony did a great job on the content side. But I'll say this, we know the roadmap for them right now. Yeah. We know they're dropping some. We know God of War is coming. We know Spider-Man's coming this year. Detroit may be another game that releases this year. And by the way, I've like people that went to the PlayStation experience that played Detroit said it was really good.
Let me tell you something.
You said that like really. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something, man. I went to E3, and y'all know I'm a huge Destiny fan, and I looked at all the games on the floor. When I saw Detroit, I was like, "What is that?" Like I gravitated towards that game, and that demo that they showed, I believe at PSX, and he did the walkthrough is what I played. That game not only looked amazing, it was probably the best looking game on the floor. Period. Just from a graphical standpoint. And like I love that stuff. Like as far as like you know, choosing different things change, the options, the different branching paths. And what I like about Detroit is that they are not afraid to touch controversial subject matter.
David Cage, yeah.
And I think that's needed, man. That is so needed. So that was low key my game of the show. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, and there was a lot of stuff that year. There was
what?
I'm telling you, Detroit blew me away. I did not expect that from that game. And I'm like, okay, I like the foundation. We'll see what's going on. You know what I mean? And trust me, I played Mario on the floor. I played Shadow of War on the floor. You know, all the big exclusives from Microsoft and stuff like that. That was the game that really drew me. And I was like, okay, that's the game I want. And every time I see more of it, I get more excited. So Detroit is low key what I'm most excited for on the Sony side, to be honest with you. Telling you. Gotta check it out, man. I'm telling you.
You know, we talked about this on Loot Chest Radio. All Day Digital went to PSX, and he said it looked great too. He said basically everything you said. He said. So those are the big games, you know, and obviously they're going to have some indie support. They are really investing in VR, I think, which is good. Yeah, because I think Sony doesn't always have the best track record of
with peripherals.
Yeah, yeah, they just don't always have. But hey, they're doubling down though.
Yeah, I gotta respect it. I'm not a VR guy at all, but I respect it. Shout out to Lord King. He's been championing that VR for the longest. And actually Jay Barr as well. Shout out to Jay Barr. You know, those guys are the VR guys. But you know what? Shout out to Sony for supporting it and continuing to double down. You know, that's good. I like that.
Oh, Chicken Spaghetti says Yakuza 6.
Oh, yeah. That looks
I forgot about Yakuza, yeah.
Yakuza 6 would have been on my list until I found out about Shenmue. So I had to make a tough choice. I had to pick Shenmue over that one. But because Yakuza to me is like a spiritual successor of like Shenmue in a way, you know what I mean?
It very much is. It very much is.
So when there was no Shenmue, I gravitated towards the Yakuza series. But now the Shenmue's back, I got to make a tough choice. I can't pick the same type of game. But I'm with you, Chicken Spaghetti. I'm with you, man.
Yakuza is one of those other games that that came out this year that came out early. It's just another banger for PlayStation.
Woo. Yeah, that's fine, man. Sega, baby, come on.
Sega's still doing their thing. People, or Sega, they're still. I mean, they're still doing.
They're still out here in these streets.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I guess so. We know about their 2017. It was a great year for them. We have a good roadmap and idea for 2018. And so for me, Cognito, outside of I haven't been for Sony 2018, I haven't been focusing on much of what they're doing right because I feel like from a content perspective, they've been doing well. But for me, it's like there's some other areas that they're lacking.
Okay, talk to me. What you saying?
And so. And I always encourage people, like it's great to support whatever platform you play on, but also don't forget to be critical of things that might not be up to par, especially if those things are being offered on the competitor's platform. So, for example, with Sony, let us change our names for crying out loud. Like that's like number one on the list. Come on, like this is 2018. Like come on, let us change our names.
It's a bad look, man. It's a bad look when I believe it was a Greg Miller. He was on stage at PSX and he's like, "So is this the year that we're gonna get the change of it?" I forgot it was a Scott Layden or one of those guys. He was just like,
I think Shuei was like, "Yeah, it's coming" or something. Yeah,
like, by next year, he's like, "It's coming." Come on, Sony, I got to get that together. That's
you better not be a PS5 feature too, because I'm just gonna. Yeah, if it's something that comes on PS5, if Sony comes out there and says, "Here's our PS5, and by the way, you can change your name today," you get an L for that, Sony.
That's a huge L.
That's not a feature you want to brag about with a new console,
Absolutely not. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. You can't do that. But for me, it's the one. Guys, it's funny. Like Mr. Mega has been very critical of Sony in this regard and saying that. Out of all the platforms, they probably more anti-consumer, which is interesting. But he says that from the perspective of some of their stances on not allowing crossplay.
Yeah, they got called to the carpet. Remember the Game Awards show? Which dev?
Who was that? Yeah, somebody did.
Somebody put them out. Damn, was it Fortnite guys? Somebody, I forgot who it was. Yeah, they put them out there. They basically just threw them under the bus. Sony's not allowing it. The fans want it.
But and look, if you say you're for the players, then don't that can't just be a mantra. It's got to be
exactly.
Your actions need to show that you're really for the players, and it's more than just delivering content. And I'll say this: Microsoft has been well ahead of them in terms of services, and features, and Sony needs to step up their game in that regard. Content, great.
Shout out to Fuzzy Belvedere. He's right. It was Rocket League. It was the Rocket League devs.
It was the Rocket League devs?
Yeah, I believe it was them. Was it Psyonix is their name? I forgot. I think that's what they are.
Psyonix, yeah.
It was them. Yep, absolutely.
Hardcore Metal brings up another point. Sony needs digital refunds. Come on, Sony. Like this
let me tell you, Microsoft runs laps around them on services, features, digital what's the greatest thing right now is game gifting. Like it's so prevalent. Like I woke up one day and someone like hit me. I'm like, "Oh man, thank you so much." Like, and just like my boy, like, "Hey, he doesn't have that title. Your boy going through a rough month financially. Don't worry, bro. I got you. Here's PUBG. Send your boy a digital copy." They just got features down. Shout out to Mike and Bar and those guys. I was testing out the Xbox Smart Glass, the beta app, and I was telling actually you were on BRAP. I mean, you were on Iron Love Podcast that time. When we did that topic, and
you guys did the live Xbox live chat or whatever through.
Yeah, bro, I'm in my phone, and it's just like unbelievable the strides that these guys do. And I guess maybe it just comes down to Sony being more of a hardware company, Microsoft being more software. And it's just showing, because they're running laps around them on that, man.
No, exactly what it is. I mean, Microsoft's a technology company; they're used to building in features, things like that. Sony doesn't necessarily, it's not their strong suit, but but come on, I mean, like start implementing some of these things. Like, it's the whole digital refund. You guys can do that. Allowing crossplay. They've done it, they did it in the past, they did last console gen.
Yeah,
absolutely. But now because they're not the industry, because they're the industry leader, they feel like they don't have to, and I get that. But don't give us this excuse that Jim Ryan's saying, "Oh well, it's we want to protect the end user," and really you want to protect the end user. Meanwhile, Nintendo is allowing
Yeah.
crossplay. We're talking about Nintendo.
Nintendo's allowed. Like, that's bad.
Yeah. Nintendo's like years behind
That's
features.
grandpa. I felt
Yeah.
the Lords, we affectionately call them grandpa Nintendo, man. Like if grandpa's
Yeah.
ahead of you or something, that's not a good look.
No, it's not a good look, and it's the one thing, and I don't see gamers talking about this enough with Sony, but they should. I always say it's okay to be critical of the things you love because you want them to be better. And this is an example where if you're not being critical or taking Sony to task about this, you should, because these are things that are going to benefit you.
Shout out to Chris Corbin and Lee. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's like they're not above reproach, you know, and they've got to improve the customer service. There's still things, and again, it's like you said, BRAP. It's like, unfortunately, the way we've been in the game for a long time, me and you, and we understand a lot of this stuff is cyclical. When you're the market leader, you tend to get a little arrogant. You tend not to hustle as hard to please the base on certain things because you're the de facto leader. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's actually good when you're a fan of the person who's not, or the company who's not the generation leader, because they're working hard to try to gain that base back, right? They're trying to galvanize the community to get them on their side. You know what I mean? So in this case, obviously, you know, Microsoft is that second place console for us in terms of the sales and stuff like that. So they're doing a little bit more. Whereas Sony, where the fans have been clamoring for the, you know, the gifting, the you know, the what you call the name change, you know, all these quality of life things that should have been here by now, you know. And it's interesting to see how things flip out and change.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, people need to hold. If you're a Sony fan or you're a Sony fanboy, hold these dudes to task about this stuff, because, like you said, these are quality of life things, and these are things that, like, you know, give you options, and options are never a bad thing. And you know, the whole EA access, why we don't have EA access on PlayStation is ridiculous. That whole explanation of, well, we don't believe it's value to our consumers. Really? So you're going to make that decision for me, Sony? You know what value means to Enrique the gamer? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know that.
Good point. I feel you, man.
Yeah. So EA, you know, get rid of PlayStation. The street PlayStation now.
Yeah, it's got to go. I mean,
I think it's time to go. I mean,
you know what though? They invested so much. Wasn't that Gaikai? They remember
it was Gaikai, 500 million.
Put so much money into that, so they're gonna ride that wave. I think the only time I felt it was actually cool, I'll be honest with you, BRAP, it was I was at someone's house and they had a Sony TV, and I'm like, I want to actually try it. You know what I'm saying? And I actually tried it. You know, I just, you know, use a regular controller. So it was cool that I didn't have my PlayStation there. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, it's just lag. It's latency. You can't play the fast Twitch stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not really a fan of backward compatibility. Microsoft was on the ball with that one.
And maybe it makes more sense for like just PlayStation 1 games, you know? PlayStation 2. But I don't, or just bundle it with, you know, with PSN Plus, you know.
Do you think? Let me ask you a question, bro. Do you think, with the whole PS5 and the Xbox 2 rumors, do you think that because of the success of PS4 and how all these great franchises, do you think when PS5 comes out that they will actually maybe entertain backward compatibility, or will you think they'll do fresh start again, you know, with PS5?
I think if Sony's smart, they provide backwards compatibility. I think if they're smart, they do it, because if Microsoft gets real aggressive and they go out and they start getting those like CODs back, marketing deals, if they start building those relationships with those developers again, start bringing newer franchises, new content, and now they say, hey, you know what? We got new games, we got this, we got that, but we also have these other services. Yeah, we also allow you to carry your library everywhere. I mean, look, I mean, that's just that's to me, huge. That's huge. I mean, for me, it may not be big for someone else. And look, I don't predict. It's funny. B Money's like, I don't want BC. I want new games.
Everybody go hard on backward compatibility.
Yeah. And look, I'm not someone who uses backwards compatibility, right? Because I mostly play newer games. I don't really. One, I don't have the time to go back and play older games. Two, I'd rather play newer games. But absolutely, I also see the value in giving gamers the option, to play older content that they've already owned. that they don't have to buy again. And
absolutely, just think about it from a parental standpoint. Think about when you buy your kid or a parent and they sit there. Because I know a lot of times I shout to Kyle who used to work at GameStop and stuff, and like a lot of times the first thing a parent will ask when the new system is, well, what about all these games I bought little Jimmy for the PS3? So you mean to say like that I have to get rid of those? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's a huge deal that Microsoft says, hey, you can pop in your old disc, you know what I mean, and still put that in the Xbox One and be able to play. Again, it may not be a feature that the hardcore necessarily are all crazy about, but it's a cool option to have so that your past library isn't abandoned. You know what I mean?
And I think I think doing that is kind of a thank you to the consumers that have invested in your ecosystem, and potentially you keep those individuals locked into that ecosystem too.
Absolutely, that's a good point.
I think if they don't do it, Cognito, I think that people might be a little upset at Sony for not, especially now that they're. I understand with the PlayStation 3 because it's different architecture. I get that,
right?
But you going from x86 to PC architecture again, more than likely the PS5,
right?
There's no reason why they shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think they got to, and just from a gamer standpoint of look at how many great PS4 franchises there are right now. Right, so you're going to alienate people from being able to access that. You know what I mean? And when they had such a dominant run this gen. I think it's critical for them. I think it's a mistake if Microsoft's history has shown that they're going to continue this backward and forward compatibility thing. Like they're going to continue it like that. Their history has shown it, and based on who they are as a software company, Sony has to do something to change that narrative if a PS5 comes out. They have to. That's a huge advantage. I know a lot of people don't feel so, but in my opinion, it's very huge.
I think it's if I'm Microsoft, I'm going out on stage at E3 and I'm saying, we actually care about gamers. We actually care about no, seriously, I would go out there and say, we care about you guys. We're not making you buy we're allowing you guys to carry your games over because we value the the investment that you made and the time that you made in these games. We want to give you that option because we care about you.
Absolutely, go that route. It's a great
marketing. Yeah, I would bury Sony for not doing that.
Double down on it. I mean, just look at the numbers when I believe it was a Mike Ibarra or someone else tweeted, and they were like, I saw the Black Ops numbers. I was like, wow, Black Ops 2. It was one of the highest requested backward compatibility games, and the sales went up. During
so that time. Like 1,000% or something like that.
Ridiculous. So it goes to show you there is an audience for it. There are people that want it.
Yeah, and developers, are fond of the concept too. That's the other thing. Like,
oh yeah,
if the industry's fond of it, why not do it? And so I just think that I understand the whole PlayStation Now thing, but maybe that's something. Look, you know what? You make a bad investment sometimes. Sometimes you have to bite the bullet. Yeah. We made a poor investment. Microsoft did this recently with the Kinect. And bye the Kinect. It's officially done. So,
and that's where I give Phil credit. See, Phil is very good at recognizing what's wrong and cutting bait. Like he has no qualms with that. That's why I give him a ton of credit. He has really changed it around from the Don Matrick era. You know what I'm saying? As far as all the foolishness, the TV messaging, the Connect messaging, always online. You know what I mean? Like they've done a complete 180 in that regard. So I got to give him that much.
Yeah, but what's funny is that we're always online anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's just hilarious. You play online only games like Destiny. I play only online only game PUBG. Like it's hilarious.
Yeah, look at like COD. COD is like the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, it's always online.
Yeah. So but that goes back to messaging. That's a whole nother conversation.
Exactly.
So that and EA Access. Give us EA Access. And I've heard a rumor that's potentially going to come.
It should make sense. I remember seeing some tea leaves too. Yeah. Like it may be coming.
But that's something that really frustrated me when they said that they didn't see it as really providing a value add to their consumer. I'm like, come on, Sony, like you can't tell me what's value to me.
Absolutely. I agree. Also, I want a little bit more. I feel as a Sony gamer, I feel like they have these great single player narrative-driven games that are amazing, like Hellblade and Last of all this great stuff. I want them to focus or have a little bit more variety. This is where I feel Microsoft does a little better than them. I want cooperative games, not third-party stuff, because we know there's a lot of third-party stuff coming. But I mean like cooperative in-house stuff. I don't feel like Sony has a lot. I feel like it's a very self-contained system. Like if you play, at least when I play my PlayStation, I'm not really interacting with a lot of people unless it's like, you're going to play like a sports game or something like that, or some competitive multiplayer game.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like, I don't know, what do you agree? Do you feel like they have a lot of first party cooperative games? I wish I need to see more of that.
Well, I would like to see them bring SOCOM back.
That's a good one.
I think the part of the reason why they don't do a lot of multiplat is because that's pretty much what everyone's doing right now. So it's like, why invest the time and money to try to compete against COD?
No, I mean not. I guess I worded it wrong. Not competitive multiplayer.
Not like a shooter or
like think Gears, right? One thing Gears does is that you and your buddy, right, can jump on. And okay, Enko, you got me with Bloodborne. I feel you. I just want to see more of that. I don't feel like there's a lot of cooperative, you and your buddy working together against the AI.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, more like yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I don't think I think if they took a game like like the last Uncharted or something like that, made that co-op.
Yeah, that's what I just want to say a couple more cooperative. That's just me being greedy, cognito. Like I just like I said again. Not saying that the multi-plats, they generally solve that issue for Sony. You know what I mean? That generally they don't have to, but I just wish that from their in-house I would get a little bit more. That's all. It's a nitpick. It's just
I mean I see it's just offering a different dynamic. Hardcore says Sony multiplayer games don't mix. But I see what you're saying. Like it's just like that other dynamic of saying, hey, you know what? It'd be cool if I could play Uncharted. Co-op,
Yeah, I think that's what Microsoft does well. They have a lot of good, cooperative, you and your buddy play together against something, kind of thing.
I think that Microsoft's also kind of embraced, and I think they've always done this. They've probably more so, and Sony just recently, Microsoft's really embraced, and they talked about this on, and I just remember going back to days of Ed Freeze and Jay Aller would come out on stage and they would talk about the Xbox community and being able to play games with your friends and jump in and out, and have this like seamless experience on live. I think that is pretty still new to Sony. Yeah. Where Microsoft's been doing that for the last 15 years. But I see what you're saying. I think that dynamic, like I would like to see that from some of their games coming up.
Yeah, I agree. That's all. Again, this is a nitpick because you know what it is. Listen, I'm biased. I'm a sucker for co-op. And when you announce something that says, "Okay, me, Enrique, we can get it on together," you know what I'm saying, and play again. That's why State of Decay appeals to me. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not. Listen, I love single player and I love great narrative, but to me, there's nothing better than it's like, yo, it's me and you. We gotta do these resources against these zombies. It's two other people, where it's fully integrated into the game. Like I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I think
shout out to Kaibatsu. I worded it wrong. Kaibatsu, right? PVE. Yeah. So cooperative PVE, player versus enemy. Yep. Look, Kaibatsu. That's exactly what I mean.
You know what's interesting? I thought the Uncharted game, and I don't know how. Obviously, I'm not a developer. I don't know how easy it would have been to implement co-op for the last Uncharted game, where you were playing next to another NPC, right?
Yes.
That would have been a situation where maybe they could have implemented co-op that way.
Yes. Shout out
because you are playing with another player. I mean,
exactly. Yep. Shout out to Inko. He even made a point with the new God of War, how they got the little boy on the side, right?
So but you know what? Though nobody wants to be the little boy.
Nobody wants to be.
Everyone's gonna want to be Kratos,
Facts. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. What about the Metal Gear Survive? Somebody brought up Metal Gear Survive beta out this month. Revealed today. Is Metal Gear Survive going to have that co-op?
I don't know, man. I gotta see.
Zombie game, right?
Zombie game. One would hope. One would see. I mean, that's why. Shout out to Chris Kobe League. Like that's why I've had fun with Destiny. That's why Destiny appeals to me because me, two other buddies, we're in a fire team, or me, six other, five other buddies. We're about to do a raid. And yeah, yes, Brad, I know we have to do the raid. I was on Friday for you waiting though.
You know what, man? I apologize. We you know what happens that we record Loot Chest Radio on Friday nights.
Oh, I didn't realize. Gotcha.
Yeah, so I was gonna hop on. I was just dead tired.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
it worked out anyway because I was waiting for you. I said, you know what? And then my boys were on, and they got me to play PUBG, and I got my first chicken dinner that night.
There you go.
So it worked out. It worked out.
You know what? So for me, those are my biggest gripes for Sony. Just them adding more features and just more service related type things like a Game Pass. I mean, the whole Game Pass thing that Microsoft has on Xbox is great because you can download the games to your hard drive. I don't think Sony will do anything like that because of PS Now, but again, for me, it's just more those implementing a lot of those services that they don't have right now that they're lacking.
Yeah, I totally agree. That Game Pass service is such a huge deal. I mean, it's such a bargain. Really a great deal. You can't knock Microsoft for that. That's really cool. Especially you don't have a lot of money. You just got a system. They were even offering it for like $1 at one point, right? Something really crazy.
I think it was like $1 for the first month.
Yeah, get over like 100 games. I got my little cousin it. Shout out to Mark Smoom. Yeah, man, he had just got his ex. He was like, he just spent the money. I was like, look, don't worry about it. Hook you up with this Game Pass. And he's like, yo, I'm playing all these games. I got all these games and Halo 5. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I forgot a lot of those games are on Game Pass list. Yeah. So he's sitting there playing it with me.
It's a great value, man. They really knocked it out of the park with that. They really did.
Amen.
So Cognito, is there anything that you want to see from Sony in 2018?
I'm just double down on what they do. Listen, trains running. They've got things rolling for them. Like you said, the features are what you said. Those specific games. I would like, again, from a selfish standpoint, please, can I get Shenmue this year? Can I get it? Can I get it this year? I'm going to speak to Yu Suzuki. I'm going to see what's going on the Kickstarter. Can it release this year? I've been waiting on that one. And just a couple of what I need from them is, remember, we just praised them for hyping up and getting the fan base invigorated about those heartstring titles, right? But now they have an obligation, whether it be a year or 2 years down the road, to say, okay, here is the update on said title. You can't just throw out a title, get everybody hyped, and then we don't hear about it for another 3 years. So that's where I'm at with them. Like, there should be like a 1 year rule. Okay, you get 1 year to not talk about it, but then by year 2, I need my Shenmue updates. I need my Final Fantasy VII remake. What's up with that? Right? Remember? That was one that we were really hyped about. So those are the two that I'm like, okay, Sony, what's going on? That kind of thing. I think they owe the consumer an update on those titles.
Yeah. See, I'm on the other side of the fence. Like, for me, it's like, yeah, okay, I would like updates like with Shenmue and Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? But at the same time, I'm so distracted by what they actually have out now that I don't think about it, So I guess for me, as long as they continue putting out like content the way they have, then I'm okay. I think the minute they stop doing that, they'll be like, wait a minute, I'm out of shit to play. Like, what's up?
All right, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna flip it another way. All right. Out of all those announcements, which is the one that got you the most excited? Which Sony announced game that has not released has gotten you the most excited the past maybe 2 or 3 E3s? Where you were like, oh my God, I can't believe they're making that game. I so want
probably. Oh, good question.
That's my point.
Probably Shenmue 3.
Okay, all right. So Shenmue's there. So again, it's like for me, because Shenmue means so much to me.
Yeah.
You can't not talk about it now for 2 years. I'm upset. Like, where is it? Like, maybe in those particular cases, not saying that you don't love Shenmue. I know you do. You need to go back on that. But again, there's that game that just really will hit it for you, and you're so excited, and it just hurts, man. You just don't hear nothing about it. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, look, I hear you. I was just giving you my perspective, on the other side of the fence. But no, I hear you. Like I going 2 or 3 years, I think, just in general, without an update on a game.
I need it to be a 2-year rule, Lord BRAP. Let me get a 2-year rule. Can I get a 2-year? Just give me a newer, just throw a release date, throw a year at the end of it. Show like a new updated trailer of 2 seconds, a splash sizzle reel, and then it's like, okay, 2020. I'm good. It's still coming. You show me something new. All right, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, it's just one of those things, it's like, it's almost like, would you rather them not show you anything, or would you rather them show you?
You're completely right. I completely agree with you. I think Sony has that, man. Shout out to All Day Digital in the chat. He's like, Yakuza. Trust me, I was all Yakuza until I heard about Shenmue. I got too excited. But
Yakuza's been giving me that Shenmue fix.
Yeah, that was going to give me the fix, but then Shenmue was like, I want the real deal now. Now I got Shenmue back. But it's like, I definitely love it. I still think Sony does a fantastic job of getting you hyped, pulling those heartstrings. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still hype about it. Don't get me wrong. It's just the emotional side of me really like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I think they need to show something Shenmue related, like E3.
Yeah, that's all.
Like, give us an update. Like, if you're gonna, here's the thing. Like, for me, it's also, if you're gonna parade a legend out on stage, and actually, I was kind of critical of them doing this.
Yeah,
I didn't like the way they paraded.
Which one?
Yu Suzuki out there on stage, and kind of was like, okay, the Kickstarter starts in like 10 seconds. I'm like, come on, like, you guys,
you ain't like the Jerry Lewis
exactly. Like, I was like, this isn't a good look. That was the one thing that I was really critical of Sony about. Like this guy's a legend.
Why did they back the truck up on that game?
Yeah, well, like, you're gonna, like, you're gonna, why not fund that game? Like, I don't understand. Look, it's not. Look, you got to know that Shenmue's not going to sell like 1 million copies, right?
Absolutely.
But it has a cult following, and it set the standard for storytelling, open world driven games.
Absolutely.
Why not back it? I mean, I don't understand the whole. I don't know. I just didn't,
you know what it is. You know what it could be too. I mean, still started the gen fairly when it was announced. I think maybe Sony's looking at it, from a financial standpoint. I mean, listen, as much as I love Shenmue, and Yu Suzuki is one of the main people that got me into gaming as such a Sega nerd, but he has a tendency to blow the budget. I got to keep it. I got to keep it all the way true. This was the reasons why him and Sega fell out. Shenmue was so expensive. You know what I mean? So I guess maybe Sony's looking at it like, look, we're getting on our platform. You can do your little Kickstarter thing. They kind of want to gauge interest themselves and see how much people want it. And then now that the numbers, I felt like once the numbers hit that, these marks that they surpassed, I was actually surprised, Sony didn't get involved. And even if Sony didn't get involved, I'm also surprised from a multi-plat standpoint that you or Xbox didn't kind of reach out and say, hey, like, we'll get behind it as well. Like, for it to be, just PC and PS4, but that's another story.
That could have been another. And again, I understand the financials behind it, but Shenmue 2 was on Xbox.
Yes,
and I heard, and I understand Peter Moore had a lot to do with that because he was
Sega ties.
Yeah, Sega ties, and he wanted a little bit of vengeance at Sony.
Oh yeah.
But that could have been like another title where the bikers could be like, hey, guys, we're giving you, Shenmue 3. Like, we're going to do it because we know that it speaks to a core fan base there.
Absolutely.
And so
that was one of the launch titles, I remember.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I just didn't like the whole how they paraded him out there and kind of like,
we need you to save Shenmue for $2.50. Call us hotline.
I'm like, as a legend, have him out here begging for money.
Out here begging. You wasn't feeling that.
No, I was not feeling that. I thought, honestly, man, and maybe I'm the minority here, but I thought it was kind of like in poor taste.
Yeah,
I really did. I mean, I was I really thought it was kind of like, and I think maybe even Adam Boyes looked to me, he looked a little kind of like, okay, you know, like
yeah. Now, trust me, I can understand that sentiment. I do. I really do. I can. It could have been handled way better. I definitely hear where you're coming from there.
yeah. So I don't know, but you know, and then there's Final Fantasy VII. I'd love to see an update for that too at this year's E3, the remake.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Cognito, should we move on to Nintendo?
Yes, sir.
All right, Grandpa Nintendo, you guys.
Grandpa, let's go.
So look, no mistake about it. Nintendo is back.
Woo!
They are back. They are back, and their release window was perfect because they're at a point now where, look, a lot of people bought Xbox Ones, a lot of people bought PlayStation 4s, right? You know, and look, the Switch is a nice complementary system to those, you know, because it offers something completely different than the other guys. It really does. I was a little, and I remember B Money was like, man, I'm telling you, he's like, B Money would say, I'm telling you guys, Nintendo, this console is going to sell like hotcakes, and I didn't believe it because when I first like heard that it was a hybrid portable console and you play it on your TV, but then it was going to use cartridges. I'm like, oh man, this is not going to end well. It's not good, right? But then we see that commercial. Then we see Skyrim. And so, Cognito, when I saw Skyrim, I'm like, uh-oh.
Yes.
I said, I know exactly what they're going at. And it made sense. And it was the first time that we were going. They tried to do what NVIDIA did with the Shield.
Yes.
And it just took it to another level because it's Nintendo. But they gave us the opportunity to have a console-like experience on the fly.
Absolutely.
And when I saw Skyrim, I'm like, oh my God, like, can you imagine playing Skyrim on the go?
Huge. I remember it looks like it was yesterday. I mean, shout out to Lord Saab. I remember one thing I have to give them a lot of credit to, no one does. They had great marketing people. The guys who were doing their commercials were really good because I remember it. And it was like, the guy at home, he's playing Zelda. And I'm like, okay, this little Nintendo system, okay, cool, fine, yada, yada, yada. He immediately takes it out seamlessly, continues seamlessly while walking to the train, to the bus. Then he gets on the plane, remember? He puts it down, he busts out the siren, he takes both of the Joy-Cons out. I'm like, whoa, Nintendo got one. Nintendo got this. Is something no one's doing. And I was just thinking about a person like myself. I'm always on the go. I'm always traveling. I'm at work. You're giving me Skyrim. You're giving me console experiences, full console experiences on the go. That's huge. I call some like, yo, they got one, man. Nintendo's got one. I think this is the wave. And we got so much crap from Lord King and Lord Attic. No, actually, Lord Attic was in the beginning because he's such a Zelda fanboy that he was like, I just want Zelda. I don't care. I'm getting it for Zelda, that kind of thing. But everybody else, remember, they were all skeptical. They just came off the failure of the Wii U. Remember how badly that bombed? Nintendo was not in.
The marketing was bad.
Oh, it was awful. So it was just one of those things where it's like, shout out to B Money, because I seen him out there. We were one of the few. Shout out to Preston Kofi, all these guys. Like, we were championing this thing. We felt the concept is great. We just got to see now with the continued support. And boy, did they have a great year in 2017. Woo!
Yeah, and they really set the world on fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you mentioned that commercial because I think that really kind of, at least for me, set the tone that wait, this is a different Nintendo.
Absolutely.
Because that commercial to me catered or appealed to the core demographic of gamers, who are people in their mid to late 20s to their late 30s. I mean, that's the bulk of gamers. And it was just, I'm like, it kind of had this like cool, this like cool, like, it was like cool or hip to like that commercial to like have it. You know what I mean? Like they show this guy, he's in like a nice apartment or condo, whatever. Right. Like, and so it made it like cool to have one almost.
Yes. And it got away. You know what else? Like you nailed it, because what they also did different is, let's be honest, Nintendo's always catered to that more kiddie it was a different demographic that they targeted, if you really think about it. Because yeah, I mean, they had some kids here and there, but I mean, the funny part was, remember when they took the switch to the basketball court, the grown dudes playing basketball.
Yeah.
Come over to play NBA 2K.
Yeah.
But I was just impressed, low key, that it was NBA 2K. I was like, wow, they're going for a big, major third party. Nintendo would never do that. They're going for Skyrim. Nintendo would never do it. You know what I mean? So it represented a new Nintendo to me. And I'm like, okay.
They have, let me tell you something. And this is another aha moment I had with Nintendo. When LA Noire dropped on the Nintendo Switch.
Absolutely.
And I said, oh my gosh, Rockstar is on Nintendo.
You know what that means. You know what that means, Lord BRAP. You know what's coming.
GTA 5.
You know it. It's coming.
How are they going to run GTA 5 on that platform, though?
Yeah, that's another story.
I don't get. I'm like, I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. But here's the thing. I got to give them credit. I didn't think there would be. Shout out to my 2K guys. I didn't think there would be no way, because 2K, for all intensive purposes, is an online game. Always, it's always online. So the minute you log in, you're in this virtual court, you're in this virtual world, it works seamlessly. So what it seems like, they're ready to sacrifice the voice chat, because clearly they don't have that. You know what I mean? But as far as the online feature, they're letting the third party handle the server side stuff. They're giving them free reins. Hey, jump on, do what you want. And I hadn't had any online issues when I play NBA 2K. Fully online, I play full games. It's everything. It's literally, and what's funny is, let me tell you how good let me tell you how impressed I was with the Switch. When I bought 2K, because I'm like, you know what, I'm always on the go, I can play that. Microsoft eventually had one of those end of the year sales, and I believe 2K was like maybe $30-$40. My cousin had, I'm like, all right, you know what, I'll pick it up now. And I looked at the difference. Now, granted, yes, it was in 4K, it was shiny, but the engine was the same as the Switch. I was so impressed. I was telling people, I'm like, dude, the Switch version, this is the same game. There's few sacrifices here besides the up-res, right?
Yeah.
And maybe a couple of, a little bit more background characters in the crowd, but the actual character models, it was the same. The animation was the same. I was like, wow, I am very impressed, Nintendo. I have the same experience that I'm playing right now on my Xbox One X. That's crazy.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And, I look, with the advent of backwards compatibility, I thought to myself, this is a great way for Nintendo to go back to some of the games that were that weren't on the Wii U last console gen, and bring some of those to the Nintendo platform. Because look, people are going to go back and play some of these older games like Skyrim, LA Noire, but they're also getting a lot of indie support, and to me, this platform is perfect for indies.
Perfect, man. I mean, you see my timeline. You see that I'm playing This Is the Police. I'm playing like all these little all the indie titles and stuff like that. I mean, it's a perfect home for it. And now we got the sales to back up. Indie guys, devs are coming out and saying our title sells more on the Switch. And shout out to Fox Mom in the chat. A lot of these games, I know people maybe don't appeal to the hardcore of the Xbox, the Sony guys, but it's like, remember, there's a whole Nintendo fan base that never played Skyrim before, right? No. They never played the LA Noire. They never had an NBA 2K on a Nintendo system. So it is a new audience in a sense that is being opened up to these games. And once the devs keep seeing this money, racking in, and how successful their titles are even doing more on this platform, it's an influx. I log into the eShop every week, and my mouth drops. I see new titles all the time, and that's what's been keeping them alive between all the major first party stuff. They've got all these great third parties and all these great indies just flooding in, man. It's a movement. The Switch movement is going, man. I don't see it stopping no time soon. It's going.
Yeah, I don't see it stopping either. I think the timing, the release window was perfect for them, and I think that they really offered something that genuinely is different than what Microsoft and Sony is offering right now. And I think that they're offering a compelling experience, and not that Sony and Microsoft aren't doing that, but
right,
it's just on a different level. It's truly a different experience, and that's, I think, in a space, the space that we're in today, when you have two consoles who are really identical, and Sony and Microsoft, this is something that automatically just stands out.
Absolutely.
And that's the brilliance behind it. They I don't know about you, but I feel like Reggie's got a little bit of swag to him now. Like he's
he got a little bump. He got a little step in his step. I see him. His chest is out. Oh yeah, I see it.
And that Bayonetta 2 or 3 announcement was, was huge.
Huge. They're sitting on landmine. Listen, I don't even care about Pokemon. I'm gonna be honest, but I know what a Pokemon announcement could do. You know what I mean? Like a Smash Brothers announcement, Mario Party. We see when the Metro Prime stuff is getting people excited. They've got their own stuff that they're sitting on. But outside of that, the third party stuff, like you just said, the Grand Theft, Auto 5, they dropped that. That's gonna move so much units, so many numbers. It'll be ridiculous, and it's gonna sell like it's a brand new game, man. I'm telling you.
I'm sure it will. But you know what's crazy? Think about what's his name? Metal Gamer. I probably So he said early in the live chat that the Nintendo Direct, it's rumored that the Nintendo Direct for this month, they're going to announce the Metroid 4 and Pokemon RPG for 2018. And listen, dude, so the other thing too that they've done well are these Nintendo Directs, where they keep like spoon feeding people like different like releases and things that are coming out.
Shout out to Red.
Yeah, shout out to Red.
We talked about Xbox for so long. Oh, Red, what's up, baby? Shout out Requenio.
Red, good seeing you in the live chat. Red, yes, this is Nintendo talk. So someone's got to get Rand. You got to try Nintendo Switch, man. You got to try.
No, but shout out to Rand, because when we had him on our Lords, when we were told we would have the whole bet as far as like who's gonna bend the knee in November, he was one of the few that said, "Hey, Nintendo's got a shot." You know what I mean? So I give him credit for that one, because I know we're all Xbox guys. For him to say that was pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, those Nintendo Directs they keep like feeding people, games that are coming out. They're keeping that interest level up, and that's huge because, like you said, they didn't have that last gen. They had a dry spell between releases, but now they don't have that.
Yeah,
they don't have that now. And it's interesting. We had Matt Piscatello on from MPD. He gave some interesting thoughts on the impact of a Pokemon RPG.
Oh yeah,
on the Switch, to the point where he said something to the effect where that could be a game where you see households now not buying just one Switch.
Yes.
But a second Switch.
Yes.
For that Pokemon game. And he's like, think about the impact of that.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing what he said, but just like he's thinking that could potentially happen. And now you're going from like, a household having 1 to 2. I mean,
that's huge. It's huge because what ends up happening now is that you're not even, this is what you're marketing that portability and it being, being a portable and having multiple people have that same device. That's what you really theoretically, you can't do that with a console, right? It's just, they're on to something, man. They're on to something. 2018 is going to be huge. They got the Direct coming up, obviously Rockstar, all these titles, all these indies are now becoming a home for the Switch. We hear report after report how our title did so much better on the Switch. We sold so much more on the Switch. So now, you've got that momentum. The third party, you see EA now and Activision, they're perking their ears up like, oh. Before it was kind of like, wait and see. Remember? The first year? It's like, we're gauging interest. We'll see. Now it's like, okay, we have to revisit. And that, I don't know if you caught that rumor, man. Like Amazon had the 20 placeholders for Switch titles.
I did see that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like 20 plus games. You got the rumor is there's a big Nintendo Direct coming up, either to be announced this week, released this week. They're sitting on bombs, man. They literally are sitting on bombs, and it's just a matter to see what they're gonna do. I mean, the ball's in their court. Just to see the statistics, man. I mean, fastest selling console in the United States ever, like the GOAT.
Well, I
That's
would say
crazy.
there's a caveat to that. There's 10 months though. It's the fastest
10
selling.
months. 10
Yeah,
months.
10 months. So
Absolutely.
I know people say, oh, fastest selling ever, but it's actually fastest selling in 10 months.
In 10 months. You're correct.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct.
And not that that's not impressive, but
Mhm.
I just, for the sake of being accurate.
No, for the sake of accuracy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also for the sake of also the Japan numbers. I don't know if you caught that,
Mhm.
where it was like in Japan again in that same period, and actually the comparison was actually a little bit more cool because Japan, when PS2 dropped, it also dropped in March back in the day.
Mhm.
So that timeline is pretty one to one, and they surpassed them, I believe, at 3 million in
Jeez.
that time frame. That's impressive. Now we do know the Japanese market is a bit different. We
Mhm.
know that everything is now kind of like to release. Sovereign made a good point. To release a console in Japan at this time is probably not going to do that kind of stuff. But because the Switch is portable, and that community in that country, that the sensibilities kind of lend itself more to portability in Japan now.
Yes, they're definitely play more on
Mm-hmm.
the go than we do here.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But regardless to what, 10 months, a year, it's really impressive start for them, and sky's the limit. We got to see. We got to see, man.
Yeah, they dropped two of their best franchises
Mm-hmm.
the same year. I mean, we think about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
That's huge.
that's
Huge.
impressive, man. And you know what's crazy?
Mhm.
Even like a game like Arms, which I never thought I'd really like get into.
Yeah,
It's actually a lot of fun.
it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what I find is I brought it over to like a couple of friends' house who are like, what I like about the Switch? It's really cool for non-gamers. Like if
Yeah.
you bring it over to a friend's house and like I had like Monopoly going,
Mhm.
it was kind of funny. Like they really cater towards couch side co-op and 4 player on one system. It's all about playing with your friend and stuff like that. So they got a lot of cool things going that they do different. Nintendo beats to their own drum, but they've mapped it out, man. I mean, they've got something with this one. It looks pretty good.
Yeah. No, and you bring up a great point. I think what they're doing great right now is they're offering gaming experiences to everyone.
Yes.
The core to the super casual who
Hmm.
wants to play Monopoly.
Hmm.
You know,
I will
like
say this though.
yeah.
I gotta see Lord Brad. I gotta see how in the hell are they gonna get Wolfenstein down on that?
I don't you know what, man. I don't know. I see it scaled back a lot.
Listen, let me tell you, man. I'm playing Wolfenstein now, right? I'm like halfway through. I'm at the halfway
Uh-huh.
point on the Xbox One X. And this game is 60 frames per second of bliss. It is so
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, we know it's not going to be 60. Let's just say that out the gate, on the Switch. But it's just like, it's just amazing to me how they would be able to do this port. Because, I mean, they did the
Mhm.
Doom and they did a serviceable job, but I don't know. I feel Wolfenstein. Wolfie is intense, man. That is an intense graphical pushing title, you know? So
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to see how they pull that one
I,
off because that's
I
what's
don't
coming.
I don't know, man. I'm curious myself. I don't see it happening.
Mhm,
It's probably going to happen. It's probably going to be.
mhm.
I mean, they did. I mean, they got Doom on there, but Doom isn't 60 frames on the Switch.
Yep,
Um,
yep. But it was very, very serviceable. Very
I
serviceable.
don't know. We'll see. I mean, maybe there's some wizardry that we don't know about. You know.
Crackers
So
good stuff.
yeah, but so we sung their praise. They've had a great 2017. What do we want to see from them in 2018?
Ooh, where do I begin? Okay, here we go. First, let's get some virtual console. All right, you've got this huge backlog of NES titles, Super NES, even GameCube. We need virtual console. Now, I understand for the whole mini system thing, I can't get mad at Nintendo for making that money. It's proven that I was wrong and that people want those systems. They want a mini NES, they want a mini Super Nintendo. They've been flying off the shelves. I feel now that they've kind of, I don't want to say got that out of their system. Maybe the N64 one is still coming, but they really need to double down on virtual console. You got this
Uh,
beautiful device. Let us have our backward compat. They've done it prior. So that's the huge one for me. And let's call it what it is: the UI and the online infrastructure. Come on, Grandpa. Like, come on, we've got to get this thing going. I felt so bad. I don't know if you saw that leak. Shout out to Spawnwave Media.
mhm.
He had a video of It was kind of a leak, and everybody wanted to know if it was true. Where
Yeah.
it showed like the UI, it showed party chat, it
Uh-huh.
showed just simple quality of life things that we're so used to on Xbox. And it's just like, come on, Nintendo, we need that, especially if they're going to charge people for this service, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to eventually going to charge people for a service. Like right now, it's pathetic that I can't send a friend on my friends list a message. I can't even send you a message. That's awful. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like they got to get the UI together. They've got to really double down with the online infrastructure. And shout out to Lord King and these guys. Like, and Lord Attic says it all the time. Like, you know, we know they have a nice relationship with Microsoft and Minecraft and stuff like that. Like, if you've got to outsource, do what you've got to do, man. You got to get, because it's such a stupid omission that I know that if they took care of it, you'd get the hardcore involved. You'd get a guy like, you know, Rand, and you get a guy like Salt. You know what I mean? Like, these are guys that recognize the tech is good, the games are good, but people are all about community. You know what I mean? People want to play with their friends. You shouldn't have to go through hoops. And then, you know, the last thing is the achievements. Like, you know, there is something to be said about playing a game for a bunch of hours and, name the medals or something. You know, do something where you have that recognition. And what's sad is a lot of developers, some of them bake them into the Switch games automatically. There's some Switch games that have trophies / achievements already. So it has to be a universal thing that Nintendo has to adopt and say, okay, this is our quote unquote medal system, you know, yada, yada, yada. You know, let's get this across the board. I think if they take care of that right there, they'll really skyrocket even more, because that's what's preventing the hardcore from really adopting it.
Yeah, no, they're definitely behind the ball on the whole social media aspect of online gaming. Connecting to your friends. I mean, even okay, let's just get rid of the user ID numbers. Like, that's like a long social security number. There's no reason for that. Like, it just, I don't understand it. I mean, I get that they probably want to filter out people using bad usernames, but you could filter that out. But like Splatoon 2, that whole like setup just to like do online chat. At that point, I might as well just pick up my cell phone, put in my earbuds, and just call my friends. You know,
and just, remember if you got a phone call, it disconnects you.
Yeah, it's just like, it's so archaic. I mean, it's like, and here's the thing that like, this is the part that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, the part of their target audience are younger gamers, right?
Yes.
And I just look to my two sons, right? And look at how they experience gaming today, or how they experience human interaction, right? Social media, cell phones, right?
Yeah. Facts.
They're used to being connected. We live in a connected world, very much different than how you and I grew up.
Facts.
And how you and I grew up playing video games, right? So their expectation is going to be accessibility, ease of accessibility, and being able to play with their friends online, because they're getting it from other avenues of entertainment. They're getting it from other avenues of technology. And this is something Nintendo can't ignore, because these things are going to be expectations of their quote unquote target audience at some point.
Absolutely. And we've had this discussion on our podcast before. I have a theory on it. I think that, remember how we talked about the commercial, we said how like that represents the new Nintendo, right? How like they're evolving. This is my theory. I think there is still an internal power struggle with the higher ups, because they've been so accustomed to be catering to the younger generation. It's like Lord Kaibatsu said, it's like in the chat, like they think they know better than you. It's like that overbearing parent. You know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, you have to understand, like, these are the younger, like you said, the younger generation, they're all connected. They're all on the smartphones. They're all doing the tablet stuff. Shout out to Fox Mom in the chat. You know, all that stuff is valid. You know, these are, you have to, you can't handhold people anymore. And if you're so concerned about the youth getting a hold or something negative happen, that's what parental controls are for. Right?
Exactly.
You put that in place. You tell the parent, this is how how you're going to set up. You're going to have your hours from this time, but you can't go online, and that's it. You're done. But all this, we have this special app, one game only. No, grandpa, no.
Wait, and the whole like app, but like the headset they were selling for Splatoon 2,
the setup.
what are you setting up here? Like, are we flying a rocket ship? What's going on? It was mind blowing. It's like, look, we don't. And the other thing too, by the way, that they need to change.
Talk to me.
Give me the ability to put on a set of headsets.
Thank you.
You know, give me that ability. Plug it in a freaking control. There's no input jack.
No reason. Exactly. And you know the sad part? Again, shout out to Spawn Wave. We did some research on it. Do you know the system has a dedicated microphone input output? It has it built in the system. This is through software that they're preventing it. That's what's the most egregious part of this whole thing. It's like, really, Nintendo? Really? Shout out to Rick Quenio. He said that headset was trash. Yeah, it had all these wires and like who's doing that? Like no one's doing that, man.
Had like 8 different adapters. I'm like, what is going on? This is okay. This isn't 1975.
Yo, the memes was lit. Remember the memes when they came?
But that's the other thing. It's funny, like Shinobi, our good friend Shinobi, who we've had on the chat. Or not the chat on the BRAP podcast.
Yeah.
Shinobi he was like saying, hey, like, you know, this is kind of crazy. Like in 2017, that, you know, that the controller doesn't have an input jack for headsets. Yeah. He's like, that's a standard now. And I'm telling you, Nintendo fanboys came out and said, no, it's not. I was like, this is, come on, guys. Like, this is, I'm sorry, but that to me, that's fault. That's an industry standard right now.
It is. It absolutely is. And it's pathetic. It's even more pathetic because, again, you had, first of all, their prior console did it, right? The prior console did. How is the newer console going to come out with a regressed feature? It makes no sense. The Vita had it. They had party chat on the Vita. I remember Bluetooth on the Vita. I remember. Fox Mom was on fire in the chat, by the way. It's like I had all this stuff, and it's just like, come on. Like, there's no reason. Again, this is why we call them grandpa. The Iron Lord Podcast, we call Nintendo grandpa. They think they know better than you. They think they're still trying to antiquate certain things to protect you. No, let us rock out, man.
Yeah, they need to and I don't know the internal workings of Nintendo. I'm only speculating here, but you know, maybe there is some kind of internal power struggle there where you have people holding on to who haven't evolved.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I agree. I think there's gotta be. It's gotta be. And I think, you know, Glug King says something that's so foul, I shouldn't even repeat. He says people gotta die before the That's terrible. He's terrible. He's awful. But it's one of those things that maybe the people that in certain departments that are decision makers and influencers, maybe they're still of that old regime. And I think the new guys are getting pushback because come on, BRAP, it makes no sense logically, right? We just from a pure logical standpoint, your old system had it. All new systems do it. You know, voice chat is prominent in gaming, voice messages, online infrastructure, all these basic quality of life things are not available on the Nintendo Switch. There's got to be a reason for it. There's got to be a reason why they have a mentality to say, you know what, we're putting the kibosh on this, or we're going to come up with this app and this is going to be the way. No, it's not. You're purposely doing this for a reason.
Yeah, and I can't for the life of me think why they think any of this is a good idea.
I'm telling you, Grandpa protecting you, man. He think he knows better. He's keeping you safe.
No, and I just go back to look. I've always said this. I mean, the way you and I experience games or gaming is going to change in the next 10 years. I've said to people, don't be surprised if PlayStation, Xbox become apps.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, you know, play anywhere, all that kind of stuff, the evolution of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it just it makes too much sense not for it to happen. And again, that's going to be the expectation of you know, my 3-year-old who just started gaming. God, it's funny, he watches me play PUBG. He's like, "Are you shooting bad men?"
Nice.
And I'm like, "Yes, I'm shooting bad men." But his experience is going to be different than my experience. I mean, I grew up playing on the Atari 2600, you know, and that was TV plugged into console, and you had a joystick and one button.
Yeah.
You know, and that was it.
Yep.
And my 3-year-old is going to have a very different experience where he's connected. As he gets older, he'll be connected with his friends. He's already playing games on his tablet. Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. Mobile gaming.
Mobile gaming.
His expectation of gaming is going to be being able to game on the fly.
Absolutely. That's the expectation. They just got to get with it.
And so that's why I can totally understand Microsoft's kind of. I don't think people realize this too. Microsoft's kind of heading that direction too. And I think that Play Anywhere feature is part of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
You know, but I think that makes sense. And I always thought Microsoft too. Just a side note, I thought they've always been good at kind of being, you know, kind of always knowing what direction the puck is heading in. You know, I think they've always been good at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, as far as the you know, the other stuff, as far as ones from them, it's just, you know, just game stuff. You know, we got the Metroid coming. Just they're major franchises that we know they're sitting on. We talked about Smash, Pokemon. Me personally, I'm such an XCOM fanboy. I would love a dedicated like an XCOM game. You know, I would love that for them. You know, keep the indies coming. I think they're a great platform for indies. Like I would even play. There was like I remember Sony had a indie. It was that scuba dive one. It looked pretty colorful. It was called Abzu or something. Like,
Abzu,
yeah. I would love titles like that. That again, maybe they went under the radar because they were on the big systems. But on the Switch, you know, it's perfect going to go small little time killer, knock it out. The last point I got for them as far as once is they've got to get the cartridge fiasco handled, because these games are getting bigger now. From my understanding, they're still trying to get the bigger 64-bit cartridge thing.
That's what I understand too. Yeah, they're working on that. Yeah,
they're working on. They've got to get that settled, and they've got to figure out the main Achilles heel with them too is the whole, you know, SD. The cartridges ended up being more when compared to the other platforms, right? You can't have Switch tax on these games. Like that's a deterrent.
That brings up another interesting point. Like look at we just talked about the Rockstar game, LA Noire. I mean, it was cheaper on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Yeah,
but then it was full price on the Switch.
Full price on the Switch. Like, let's be real here. Like, come on. Like, people are not feeling that. Like, especially when they know your system is the underpowered of, you know what I mean, of the three. So, you know, portability is one thing. And yes, I'm a gamer, so I'm going to play where I want to play the game the most. And sometimes the Switch wins out from a portability standpoint. I'm like, okay, I might not play this indie in my house, but I might play it on the Switch. But I shouldn't be, quote unquote, penalized. That's why I've gone all digital with them, because digital, I don't get the cartridge tax. I don't get the Switch tax. And
well, that's exactly what it is, the cartridge tax. So
you're paying for that cartridge. It's costing too much. And the other thing I'm noticing, which is, again, they have to be careful, is that I'm going to bring up NBA 2K again. When NBA 2K came out, it came out digitally day and date with the other major platforms, with Xbox One and what you call it. Do you know the physical disc cartridge didn't come out for like a month or something later? That's a problem.
Yeah,
because not everyone's digital. You go into the store, you don't see it, you don't think it's coming for the platform. It's just that me and you, we're connected. We know. So that's again, they've got to get that cartridge thing.
I agree.
Ironed out.
No, I agree 110%, man. They really do.
So what you got? What do you want?
I mean, pretty much. I mean, everything you said. I mean, we talked about is pretty much what I want from them. I mean, you talked about the issues of the cartridge, the pricing, you know, versus releases and other platforms. I mean, I almost bought LA Noire, but then I was like, well, why would I buy it if I can buy it cheaper on PlayStation or Xbox, right? So, but then, you know, the archaic stuff, like the, you know, online, the UI, the communication or lack thereof, headsets, they really need to get that, like, they need to get that down, and they need to put a headset jack in the controller, or the Pro controller. There's no excuse for that. You're gonna charge $70 for a controller and not have that. That's just absurd. So, those are the things I would like to see from them in 2018.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I think we're both on the same page in terms, and probably a lot of other gamers, I think, probably have the same opinions or thoughts on what they want to see from them in 2018. So
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cognito, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this BRAP rant. Dude, great conversation, man. Always a pleasure having you on, man. I really mean that. Big fan of what you guys do with the Iron Lord podcast.
Much appreciate your extended family, man. It's just always good to talk gaming with you, and just again, we share a lot of similar mindset, and the Lords, they love you. They love you. Always they get excited when I tell them BRAP's coming on this. I'm actually trying to get in the process of getting a little bit more on BRAPs and other podcasts as well. So I got to shed the Cognito moniker a little bit, get from out the shadows, get out of my ninja mode, and get a little bit more engaged. But man, absolute pleasure. Really appreciate the support. Really appreciate you having us, and like I said, all the loves. We really respect what you guys are doing out here, man. It's always fun. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you, man. I certainly appreciate that. And like I said, I mean, I'm a big fan. Love what you guys do. You guys are great pillars of the gaming community. So just keep doing what you guys are doing.
Thank you so much, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah. So, Cognito, where can people find you and the Iron Lords podcast?
Yeah, man. Iron Lord podcast. It's Lord's Day every Sunday. We're back at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Find us on the the Inner Circle Network YouTube channel. So we come there, we go live every Sunday. That's when the sermon is delivered. And we have some fun, man. The chat is always fun. We do that up on Twitter. You can find me. I'm at Lord Cognito. Same thing as far as the gaming systems. I'm Lord Cognito on Xbox Live. On PSN, I'm actually Cognito 360. I've been trying to change that for years. Come on, Sony. Let's get that together. What I'm saying? Switch. I don't give out the social security number, but I actually posted it on my my Twitter. So actually at Lord Cognito, you can see my Switch social security, so you can online stalk me on Nintendo Switch. You can't send me a message, but you can at least see what I'm playing. So that's what I got.
No doubt. So hey, big shout out to everyone in the live chat again. Great seeing some familiar faces and some new faces too. So for those the chat was lit. So everyone who everyone who's new, thank you for stopping by. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe as well if you haven't done so. And we will go live again on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the regular time that Basement Radio Arcade goes live. So, it's myself, B Money, Eric Jackson, Mr. Negative, and look, we just talk video games. We're just fans of the video game industry and gaming, and we don't do any of the fanboy stuff. So, if you haven't checked us out on Wednesdays, come check us out Wednesday night, every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we've had industry guests on too. So we've had David Jaffe on, creator of games like Twisted Metal and God of War. We've had Ryan McCaffrey on. We've had Christian Allen on, who's worked on games like Ghost Recon and Halo Reach.
Nice.
We've had Greg Kasavin from Supergiant Games.
So man, guys in the chat, you guys got to support BRAP, man. Every Thursday, I always try my best. Even if I missed the live show, I'm like, I gotta catch the replay. I gotta see what they were talking about. Great. Just shout out to B Money. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Eric Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Negative. All you guys that come in, it's good energy, good positive talk, and these are the kind of things. I just want to say one thing, BRAP. Like, these are the kind of things that we gotta support, man. Not just all negativity and the clickbait stuff is fun here and there, but it's like, come on, guys. These are real gamers talking real games. Let's support some positivity out here. You know what I mean? Like, it's too easy to fall for the clickbait garbage.
No, it really is, and that's why we started BRAP. We wanted to give people a different perspective.
Absolutely.
Like I said, we don't do the fanboy thing. We're all very much against the fanboy nonsense. So it does more harm than it does good. So also, if you haven't done so already, go to Twitter and check out at Loot Chess Radio. I'm actually a co-host on that podcast as well. We actually record every Friday night and release the podcast, I believe, on Saturday or Sunday. So you can find the Loot Chess Radio on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at Loot Chess Radio, and also find us on iTunes as well. So you can download the podcast through the iTunes. Great show. It's myself, Saltiest Gaming, who you guys had on yesterday.
What's up?
Yep.
Jay
Fonzarelli. Yep.
Yeah.
Jay Fonzarelli and All Day Digital. So
All Day did. We saw it all day in the chat app. So I got to reach out to him, man. I like what he's doing over there at RDX. Love Jay Fonz, man. Great guy. We're gonna get him on Iron Lords podcast very soon. He also talks combat sports. So him and Dave Lord King gonna have some good fun with that as well. So that's gonna be fun. But yeah, man, love what you guys are doing. That's a great show. I actually caught very professionally well done, man. I like the vibe. I might have to leave one of them voice messages in.
Hey, seriously, leave
Yeah.
a voice message. I don't even have the number off the top of my head. I can send it to you.
Yeah, I have to do that, man. I have to be caller number 65 coming in. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
But I
yeah,
like the vision, man. I do. I really feel what you guys are going with that. Great group. When I saw you guys came together, I was like, that's gonna be dope. I'm very keen to see where you guys go with that and take that.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's really cool too because we all have different perspectives and opinions and preferences in gaming. So you're definitely going to get different opinions and perspectives on things related to gaming. So it's been a lot of fun. I really have enjoyed shooting the shit with these guys and talking video games and the production values. I mean, it sounds like a real radio show. It's actually really cool.
Fonz is on his game with that one, but I'm like, dang.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
Fire.
So
fire. Really good stuff.
He puts a lot of work into it. So we definitely appreciate a lot of the work that he's put into it. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So on that note, Cognito, again, thank you, man. Always a pleasure. Remember, everyone, hit that like button and subscribe. Also, hit that little bell because that will give you alerts to new content that comes out on Basement Radio Arcade. And hey, spread the word. Let your friends know about us. We're trying to grow this thing. Help us get to 1,000 subs. That's my goal for the next for the first 6 months of the new year, I should say, is to get to 1,000 subs. So we're almost there.
Hit that notification, gang, so you get those BRAP rants and those the BRAP podcast every Thursday, man. Make sure you're in the game.
Yep. So, all right, everyone. We'll see you on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And who knows? Maybe another BRAP rant drops if there's some more news. So we'll see.
No doubt. I'm staying tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Those things drop. Sometimes I just get the itch to do it. I'll just drop them last minute. So keep an eye out.
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. Take care. Peace.
Peace.